This week for most fantasy leagues is the trade deadline. There are going to be so many people in a hole this week because they lost Cooper Kupp, Juju, et cetera, et cetera. If you happen to be the team with a higher waiver priority, take the top waiver targets that you can. Make sure they're not available for that team to grab later. So yeah, I'm talking about the people that are competing with me. And then try to package them in a trade before the deadline to get what you really need to get you through the fantasy football playoffs. For instance, if you have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Fields, probably don't need both of them. You can go with some other backup quarterback, some Trevor Lawrence or Matt Ryan in an emergency. You take Justin Fields, you turn him into, I don't know, Amon-Ra St. Brown even, depending on what the team needs.
If you had a Cooper Kupp, let's say, you're most likely succeeding because he's consistently great. Now he goes down, but you're in a playoff spot, but you have a big hole at your wide receiver one. And then you go, okay, well, this team over here is a bottom dollar, but they have a guy who's really, really good. If I go and take one of their receivers, if he's willing to make a trade, then I'll sacrifice maybe a pick next year. Now, obviously, this is for leagues that you know will 100% continue and you're allowed to trade draft picks. What is your stance on teams, number one, giving up key players to high-end contenders for high draft picks the following year?
I think as long as it's fair to you, it's fair.
Yeah.
You know, if you're playing for the future, if you're in a keeper league, if you're in a dynasty league and you're building for the future, then nobody's getting taken advantage of. And I know sometimes people are like, that's collusion, but it's not. You're getting something back. Unless you're like 2-8, you're probably still somewhat in the mix for your fantasy playoffs. I mean, it would take a lot of luck, but if you win the next 4 weeks in a row and somebody else hits a bad skid because they got hit with this injury bug and they have bad bye weeks, you could probably fight your way into a playoff. So it's really too early to give up at all. And I think it would be hard for anybody to make the argument that most teams are completely out of it.